Hi, I'm Randy Wooden, and welcome to another in our Edge Library series, this time addressing baby boomers and the elevator speech. And we'll try to talk about what an elevator speech is, also what it isn't, and then try to give you some guidance in terms of the different components of an elevator speech. Now, there are varying opinions as far as what should go into this elevator speech, but first of all, let's say by definition, we're trying to get our arms around what this thing is. It's something that's brief, fairly superficial. Originally got its name because when you stop and think about it, in an elevator, you've got a short, finite period of time to be able to convey whatever it is you want to convey to somebody, because the door is going to open and they'll leave. So you've got to be brief with this thing. What an elevator speech is not, and this is important, it's not where you sort of push yourself on somebody and ask if they know of anybody that might be hiring and kind of do that social faux pas thing that we all know not to do in networking, and that is to really put somebody on the spot to ask them to essentially provide the name of somebody ready to hire you. Just not reality, and I think once you do that, you kind of muddy the waters a little bit. Makes it a little bit tougher for you to actually get through to this person what you really want to get through to them, which is, hey, you know what? I could use your help. So that's a little bit definition-wise what it is and what it isn't. Now let's talk about the components of an elevator speech. The first part, I think, really needs to speak to, and again, very briefly, just a few seconds, it needs to speak to where you are right now. Meaning, are you in transition? Are you still employed somewhere but exploring maybe options elsewhere? That kind of thing. So it gives them a sense for where you are. Secondly, I think you can look at what is your background. Now, as a baby boomer, you've had a number of years of experience, or in some cases, maybe you were a former stay-at-home mom looking to re-enter the workforce. Regardless of where you are, you have skills and experience. And here's where you want to talk just a little bit about where you are in life at this point. Maybe some of the background you have. For instance, maybe I have a background in sales, a background in the IT field. I'm a senior manager in the manufacturing sector, that sort of thing. Nothing real heavy and specific here. Just give them a quick overview so that I can sort of put you in a little box to say, okay, I know what this guy does now, that sort of thing. The next step is, what is the desire for change? Now, if you're unemployed, then, well, the desire is pretty evident. But if you're employed, then I think it's important to convey sort of what you might be looking for. And I'd even argue that if you're not employed and you're in transition, you still need to sort of address that. I've had many clients who are of the baby boomer age and who have held pretty substantial positions in organizations. And one of the challenges they're running into now, and one of their desires really, is to somewhat downsize a little bit. Maybe not the high-level job and maybe look to transition somewhere else, and or maybe look to have a big meaty role in a small company versus climbing that corporate ladder, and wherever they've come now, they're sort of a mid-sized fish in a big pond. They'd like to take those big company skills and experience and bring those to bear perhaps on a smaller organization where they can affect the day-to-day outcomes of the company. So what's the rationale for change? And really the final step then is, well, ask them what you want to ask them. What is it that you want them to do? What is their call to action? And I would argue that it's not, do you know of anybody that might be hiring? I wouldn't even say, do you know of anybody I could talk to? If I'm talking to somebody in a networking setting, meaning a large group of people or even a relatively small group, all I want to do at this point is to try to lay the groundwork so that I'll be able to follow up at a later point with them. So that's what I would ask them. Now, on the other hand, if I'm sitting in an informational interviewing setting or I'm in a networking setting and they say, how can I help you? Or what can I do for you? Then I think this elevator speech is very, very similar to what you would say in that setting. The key difference is at the end of your elevator speech, you don't ask, obviously, for time to perhaps get together in the future. In this case, you would say, well, I'd like to bounce some ideas off you, and I appreciate you having some time to talk with me. Here's what I wanted to share with you. So that's a little bit about the elevator speech for baby boomers, and that's going to wrap up this, another Edge Library series. I'm Randy Wooden, and thanks for watching.